What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, and today we're going to be comparing two awesome everyday carry options that honestly you can't go wrong with. Usually in a lot of the videos that I make, I do have a preference. I have one that I prefer over the other, or one is my favorite, and I'm just comparing it to something that's very comparable, but I do prefer one over the other. In this situation, with the IWI Masada 9 Slim and the FN Reflex, I can't pick one over the other. These handguns are so close in about everything while being so different, and that's what makes them pretty even. They each have stuff that I like more about the other one, which about balances it out. But all I can say about these two handguns is whichever one you pick, you're getting quality. You're getting something that was made to be able to defend yourself with ease while still being very concealable and a smooth shooting handgun. But before we get started, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe. Today we're comparing these two awesome everyday carry options right here. Now, what's interesting is, for the longest time, we had these thick handguns like the Glock 26, the M&P subcompacts, the M&PCs, the Glock 19s, all that, right? And that was looked at as the gold standard. Then we went to single stacks, right? And those were looked at as the best thing, right? Because they were small, they were light, they were concealable compared to the thicker options. Then we went down to micro 9s, which have more capacity than single stacks, but are very small and sometimes even lighter than the single stacks were themselves. Short barrels, short slides, with tons of features, right? Now we're at the point where they're going back up in size. They made all the XL versions, the carry versions, the larger brothers of the micro 9. Now there's nothing wrong with that. The more options we have, the better. But that's where the main difference comes in on these, and that's actually one of the biggest things I like about the FN Reflex, the Hellcat, stuff like that, is the ability to shrink it down. Look at this handgun with a flush mag. You can already toss that in a pocket. You can pocket carry it in the summer, conceal it so easily, and if you have the capacity of a micro 9 in that small of a setup, you have plenty capacity, and then when it's an FN Reflex, you have reliability. Now, the number one thing I like about this handgun is the grip angle and the grip. It fits my hand really well. Now, the texturing is good. Not the biggest fan of these little corners. They're a little like squared off. I wish they're a little more rounded. But overall, when you purchase that handgun, it feels really nice in the hand. Full 3-finger contact on that 15-round mag while being very ergonomic and very easy to get a grip. And sorry about that. I think my daughter may have spit up on me. But overall, I do like the FN Reflex, but I'm not a fan of the finish on the FDE one. Now, obviously, that's just the Cerakoting. My other FN 503 had an amazing coat on it, but this has a lot of holster time as well, a lot of shooting, but the Cerakote just doesn't seem to be holding up as well, so I would recommend getting the black one. But not a big deal because this thing runs flawlessly. On top of that, you have a rail, which the Masada Slim does not. So you have way more light options with this. This can flex as your everyday carry option, your pocket carry option, throw a light on it, and it could be your home defense option. So this is a very versatile handgun right here. Now the sights are awesome. 3-dot sights with a squared or rectangled rear, but obviously 2 white dots in the rear and a tritium orange dot in the front, so that is a night sight and that will glow in the dark. Like I said, texturing good, everything functions. And the FN 503 actually racks like butter. Everything locks back. You can release the slide with the slide stop and trigger. Let's get into it. And then we're going to jump into the Masada Slim because that is the best part about the Masada Slim. The FN Reflex has a great trigger. It's very light, crisp, clean, defined, but the reset is longer than most people like. It is hammer fired, but it's still very light and crisp and clean. And also what I like about it is predictable. So overall, a very good trigger. It's just different than every other micro 9 that's out there, just different. And it does take a little bit more time at the range and getting used to, just because it's like a light trigger, and it's very hard to describe. I can't describe it. It's just different. Let's do it one more time. It's like so light, crisp, and clean, but it has like a different break to it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. The break is just different, but it's very crisp, clean. Everything functions on this handgun flawlessly, and we're almost to 1,000 rounds, and I'm very excited to make that video because it's been 100% reliable, not a single issue with it. The only thing that I would say is that overall finish on the handgun. So that's the FN Reflex. Right here is the IWI Masada Slim. Like I said, 13+1 in that setup. Let's compare sizes. The slide on the Masada Slim is thicker, so it's more similar to like a Glock 26 in width, whereas the FN Reflex remains very slim up top. But when you come to the frames, they're very similar, about Glock 43X width, SIG P365 width, stuff like that. But 13+1 on the left, 15+1 on the right, so very comparable. But the IWI Masada Slim you cannot shrink down. But what I will say is, just like the 43X, that grip angle, that texturing, the ergonomics are just on point. And like the GeForce Rapture GF9, you see that line? That's where the frame gets bigger. So you have more mass, more barrel, more slide, stuff like that to help with managing recoil. And you can see the width difference right there, and that's a big thing. Now, like I said, it is a heavier handgun overall, but that really does play a role with recoil because all that weight comes from that heavier slide. The FN Reflex does come optics ready as well. I just didn't get it optics ready. The Masada Slim, they might all be optics ready. 3-dot sights, but the 2 in the rear are blacked out, which a lot of people like, and also a U-notch rear, which I really like, and then just a white front sight. The FN Reflex costs about $500 to $550, whereas the Masada Slim is about $450. So if you add some, night sights to your Masada Slim, you're getting very close in price. Overall, the finish is phenomenal on the Masada Slim. Definitely better than the FN Reflex, the FDE version. The black on the FN Reflex is probably going to be the same exact quality. Overall, good forward serrations, rear serrations. Just a good quality handgun. You can just automatically feel the quality of it. But the number one part about this handgun that I like is the grip. It's so ergonomic, fits your hand well, and for someone who has a lot of pain in his hand, it feels really good. You also have built-in mag wells almost in the magazine, locking your hand in here, but at the same time, if you have a bad malfunction, you have some leverage to pull on these little tabs right here, so it's actually pretty nice. Everything functions flawlessly, racks like butter, locks back, releases, everything just functions on this handgun. Now let's do that trigger, because this is another place this handgun shines, right? See, it's got a longer take up right here. Look at this. But, woo! Who saw that? No over travel, nothing. Look at, right? Reset. Let's do that again for the people that missed that because it's so short. And that's why people love this handgun. That trigger is just, woo! Honestly, it's just, I love doing this because it feels really good. And the shape of it, look with the trigger dingus off. Look at the shape. Amazing shape trigger. Look at that. Absolutely love it. The Masada Slim has a great trigger. So obviously now you know the things I like about it, things I don't like about it. But honestly, I like everything about both these handguns. I just prefer certain parts of each one a little bit more. Shootability, the Masada is a better shooter with a better trigger and a heavier slide. When it comes to ease of concealment and being comfortable in a lighter option, the FN Reflex wins that battle. Overall texture, FN Reflex. Overall ergonomics, Masada Slim. Overall sights, Reflex. Like I said, rail, reflex, so they're very, very compatible. More magazine options for the Masada. Like I said, being able to shrink this down, reflex. Very, very comparable handguns in my opinion. Both top-notch quality at a reasonable price. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.